the role of a woman is to lead a man. A man cannot function in society alone. The woman's brain, I'm a scientist, you guys, I'm a biologist. A woman's brain is bigger than a man's brain. Let me just throw this up.
What up, YouTube? I am your host, Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. Back in here with one more video. Guys, it's time for us to have a discussion today. It's time for us to get active. All right? Shout out to YouTuber Sublime Consciousness. I see you, my brother. He did a video a couple of months ago with a friend of his. Now, I will say I was requested this video a minute ago. I stored it in my backlog. I never watched it. But I just went through the first minute of it and I said, oh, we got to go through this. All right? Without further ado.
All right, guys, so let's get into it, man. The first topic in today's discussion, man, we're going to be talking about the role of a man and a woman. All right, man, so what do you think the role of a woman is?
I mean, it's clear. The role of a woman is to lead a man. A man cannot function in society alone. We recreate and we help fill and bend the minds of young men and women. Women are meant to lead. We are put in charge of every human being on earth. Why would I let a man take charge of me?
Wait a minute. She must be trolling, right? She must be trolling, right? Look at her face. I told him. I told him. Oh, man, there's so much to pick up off of this first reaction. Now, what she said was, and I know you guys all heard it, but let's reiterate. A woman's role is to lead a man. And she said, and women as well. So women are leaders of the community. That's what I'm hearing right now. Okay. She also double backed and said, why would I allow a man to lead me? Is this the mentality that our young women have today? Does she represent most, the whole, some, a few minority of them? Oh, goodness. I can understand now if this is what media is pushing, if this is what people are teaching, why the disdain and the separation between black man and black woman is what it is today. I have to keep going just to make sure she's not trolling. But look at my man's body. I'm going to play that one more time. Watch, because you were probably listening to her spout whatever it is that she was saying. But watch his body language the entire time. One more time. Let me run that back.
I mean, it's clear. The role of a woman is to lead a man. A man cannot function in society alone.
Look.
We recreate and we help fill and bend the minds of young men and women.
He's saying, what the hell?
We are put in charge of every human being on earth. Why would I let a
oh, he had a little bit of reaction right there.
Why do you feel like y'all are put in charge of us? What do you mean by y'all are put in charge?
Please explain.
Do you not know that in the Bible it states that a man should lead and should be the leader of the household and you guys are the help? So why would you say it's like in the role of a woman to lead? That makes no sense.
Well, that was back when men had common sense. Nowadays, men are just born with no common sense. I mean,
so basically what you're saying is men don't know their roles.
Men don't know what to do. It's not about roles. Men just don't know how to function in society. Men, I don't want to say it sound too harsh. They just don't. Their light bulbs ain't all the way up. You know?
Oh, wow.
Men are not all the way up. Their light bulbs ain't all the way up. I mean,
you gotta elaborate. What do you mean by that? I'm not understanding why you saying us men don't. Our light bulbs aren't in there. What do you mean?
This is a perfect example of what I mean.
Just real quick, imagine if this was flipped. If there was a man over here that was claiming superiority over the opposite gender, the amount of backlash that guy would receive. I mean, she's basically saying men are inferior to women. Men are not as smart as women today. There was a time, according to her, where they were smarter or as smart. But today, they don't know their roles. They don't know their place. That's her truth. That's her reality. Let's hear her explain. I'm quite curious.
So today, we were out on the road in Atlanta, and he decided to turn the opposite way on a one-way. I told him, stop. It's a one-way. He was like, no, it's not. Yes, it is. We end up keep going. He then decides to do a U-turn again on the one-way street stating that I'm going to go the other way. I'm like, Brandon, when did it change from being a one-way road to a two-way road? Little things like this is why you cannot let men lead, because they don't use their brain 100% of the way, which ends up making stuff delay or take a long time to complete. Men just don't have critical thinking skills. It has to be straightforward for them to understand it. If it has anything, any curves, any confusion, you guys just can't deduce it on your own.
Okay, guys, now let me say this. I will agree with her on certain parts. I do believe that, and I'm going to comment on what she said, because, I'm not going to let her come at me like that. But I do believe women are, I like the role of a woman. If anybody out there have a girlfriend, I do feel like it's the role of your girlfriend to be like the brains of the operation almost. I
What?
Feel like that's
what are you talking about?
To help men, as far as being their real. I do think it's in the role of a woman to help you with decisions as far as thinking and making critical decisions, because women do use, like I said in a lot of my videos, guys, women do use more of their brain than men. It's like
What
they
are
use
you
their
talking
intuition.
about?
They're more perceptive, they're more intuitive than us men. Like she said, and I do agree with that, we are more logic based, but that doesn't make women.
Why would I want to let somebody who's not...
I'm so confused, my young brother. I thought you was going to come in with the fire, the heat, and the passion, right? And in a way to try to even out the differences of the different roles while still supporting men. I mean, to even allow her to continue in the conversation as if men use less brains than women, it baffles my mind, as if the multitude of things that men have created, everything, damn near everything in this car, was somehow created by an inferior, less able-bodied version of a woman is completely ridiculous to me. Now, I'll be the first one to say, let me try to correct some things. I'll be the first one to say, from an intellect perspective, there is no discernible difference between both men and women. Yes, we think about things from different perspectives and rely on different components of how we are centered in our masculinity and our femininity to drive different decisions. But from a raw IQ perspective, which is what she's getting at, that was what she's getting at when she's calling you out for not understanding the one way. And listen, that could be a bunch of things. Maybe you just didn't see it in one way. To say that we can't multitask because we have a one-track mind, it's this same media pushed bullshit of married with children shit, right? Go to work all day, shoe store, deal with a married wife. You are slow. You are not worthy. Simpsons. Work at a power plant for your family all day, go back home because you can only do one thing, one track mind. It's just this narrative that is pushed disrespectfully to a degree where this is how it manifests, to human beings actually believing the bullshit, actually believing the subconscious fake truths that they try to communicate regarding the genders. This is example. This is it right here, guys. We're seeing it in the flesh. But let's move on.
Logic-based lead me. Why would I let somebody who doesn't have a brain for themselves lead me?
Wow.
Men, you just said it yourself, don't have a brain for themselves. You need a woman to help. Your brain is 50% there, but not 100%.
Okay.
Wow.
See,
that's like letting the blind lead you across the street.
Now she's wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why you let men lead you. Okay, as a man, that's why we come together. You're supposed to come together with the woman, because as a man, we possess things that you guys don't possess, and as a woman, you guys possess things that we don't have. So when you come in union with a man, when a man and woman comes in union together, they are supposed to complement each other. You are supposed to take my logic, and I'm supposed to take your intuition and your perceptive nature, and we build with that. But a lot of...
Okay, he explained himself a little bit earlier. Earlier when he said the brains of the operation, I took that to say the same thing, kind of what she's saying, but just from a different perspective. Instead, what I think the brother is trying to say is the man can come in with more logic-based decisions, and the woman can come in with more emotional, nurturing based decisions. And I'm not going to sit here and say that, one is more superior than the other. I think that they both have their place in the world on both rights, and some situations require one more than others. Like, for example, being a logic-driven based person doesn't matter a lot of times in the court of public opinion. What appeals to people is emotion, and if you can, that's why I tell you guys all day, you have to have a degree of empathy in how you communicate with people, because you can be 100% accurate, you could be 1,000% correct about something, but if you don't communicate it in the correct way, no one will either hear you or they'll take your correctness or accuracy as disrespect. I'll let you guys know, as a logic, analytic driven person, I've had to learn this the hard way a bunch of times in my life, because at the end of the day, I'm like, but I'm right though. But in the court of public perception, it's not about being 100% accurate. You can still sway people's ideas leveraging empathy. You understand what I'm saying? I have videos talking about that specifically. But let's go on. I'm starting to understand him a little bit more, but she's just, I don't know if she's acting, if she's trolling, but let's keep going.
What happens today, in today's society, guys, a lot of women, they want to be the leader. They want to be the man in the relationship.
That's a fact.
Vice versa, since we've been raised as blue pill beta boys, we don't know our role as men, and we don't have logic to lead women. But it starts with us men, guys. It starts with the men. If the men don't have a proper perception of what to do and their role as a man, it's only going to trickle down to women. Why?
I agree with him. I agree with him right here. I think that what we're seeing right here is the product of her going for certain types of dudes. And it could be certain type of dudes that have led her astray, and it has completely messed up her perception of what a man is. It doesn't sound like she's had a father in her life. If she had a father that she respected, or even an uncle or grandfather that she respected in her life, she wouldn't be talking about men this way. But I agree at the idea and the assertion that it starts with the dudes. I think that it absolutely does. I think that it absolutely does.
Why do you think so many women, and now look at you when I say this, why do you think so many women in this feminist movement always say things like, oh, well, a man does it, why can't we do it? Why don't you guys have your own, like,
it's called penis envy
when it comes to what you guys want to do in life? Why do you all guys have to always point at what a man, like a man does it, why can't we do it?
Listen, and I can't stand that argument. I see it in my comments all the time. Like, I did a picture not too long ago, and I had a tank top on, and you could see like tattoos across my shoulders and shit like that. And I remember women coming out into the comments like, but if a woman does it, that yada yada yada. And I'm just like, just mistake number one is comparing yourself to a dude, and that's what the feminists have pushed to you. That's what they push to you, mama. And I'm sorry to say that we are governed by different rules. There's reasons for double standards, and they exist. This is the world that we live in. You'll be a lot more happy in life if you stop comparing yourself to a man. Okay? Compare yourself to the femininity of other women who truly exhibit high degrees of femininity, not those that are involved in a feminist movement that tell you to compare yourself to a man. You understand what I'm saying? Let's move on.
The man is constantly, as you can see, his whole page, I'm sorry. All you guys do is point the fingers and talk about women all day, 24/7. Women have been trying to fight to get their voice heard, to get rights, to just at least be equal for the longest. Men, of course, you're at the top of the hierarchy, and that's something that's just been done since, like you said, Bible days. Women we are trying to make our way up. So of course we want to compare ourselves to you guys, because you're higher you're more so higher up on the hierarchy. We want to be equal
Stake
to
number
you,
one,
because currently we're actually beneath you.
And she just played into what I want to say, guys. They want to be equal to us. Now, if you guys are such profound leaders, and you guys are so like, you guys have the ability to lead and just take over the world. Why are you settling for being equal with the man? Why is it we want to have our own position? And another point I want to ask you, why is it that you guys are, if the roles were meant for you guys just to be the natural born leaders in society, if that's just how it was meant to be, why do you guys have to do petitions and rallies and like protests to get your voice heard, like all these feminine protests.
Or why has every civilization ever was created on the backs and the strengths of men? If you were natural born leaders, the feminists have convinced you that that's what you want to do. You don't. You want to feel secure. You want to feel protected. You don't want to go fight wars. Like, I'm just, you know what it is? It's that we live in this fluffy society. It's, and listen, I'll say it as well. Coronavirus, a lot of it, COVID has switched this ish on its foundation. When there's an idea of a pandemic, when there's an idea of a lot of things are going to be changing in this world, what you saw was a flip. What you saw is a clear and direct flip in the need for safety and protection. You understand what I'm saying? And here's the thing. We live in too cushy of a society now where the role and the need of a man doesn't need to be felt like that. All right. No longer are we sitting on an island and there's a giant ship that's, you know what I'm saying? Now, if we see giant ships while we sit on an island, it's like, oh, boy, it's a cruise ship. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. 700 years ago, you see a ship coming inland that you don't recognize. Oh, it's time for pillaging, killing, and stealing. You understand what I'm saying? But we live in such a fluffy society now due to the advent of technology, amongst the other things, that the role of and the idea of the separation of what a man does and what a woman does is completely and utterly lost. But we see it creeping back in to the mindsets when there's times of calamity. But let's keep going. This video is good, by the way. Shout out to Sublime Consciousness. Fantastic content.
Us men don't do that.
It's simple. It's like the nerd versus the bully. The bully always wins.
Wow.
I don't consider women the nerds because they're more so logical right now.
It is, guys.
They hear it.
So it's a competition for her.
Listen, the woman, we're more so nerds because we have more so logic based. We use our minds, use our brains, we're hands on. We can solve any problem with the quickness.
Hold on. You just said women are more so logic based?
Which is ridiculous.
Yes. Let me finish what I'm saying though. We're logic based.
Logic based, really.
Please tell me how.
What happens when you guys on your period?
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying.
Okay.
Emotional message.
What do you mean what happens? Science happens. We're logic based, but when we're on our period, science happens. But our emotions aren't always going to control our actions. I know.
Your emotions control your actions 100% of the time.
Your emotions control your actions too. Men are very prideful. They are very prideful, which leads you to act the way you act now towards women. You don't want to feel weaker than no woman, which is why you're going to sit up here and you're going to try to put your foot down, do illogical things. You're going to do whatever you can to make yourself feel dominant in any way. And if a woman backtalks you, you're going to shut her down. If a woman gives an idea to you, if a woman gives an idea to him, he's going to shut it down just off the simple fact that he's a woman. Men are intimidated by women. But let me go back to what I was saying about the bully and the nerd. Okay. Men are bullies because all they have is strength. All you guys have is brute strength. That's all you have. In this labor world, we need brute strength to make money. So of course you guys are more so valued because you have the arms and strong. But why would I let somebody who's only good quality strength, which is strength, lead me? Why would I want to let the logical person lead me? And even with being equal, logic and strength go hand in hand. You can have the plan and the idea, you just need somebody to put it down and make it work. So of course you can be equal with each other and make it work. No man is greater than me. No woman is lesser than anybody. No one is lesser. Everybody's equal.
So guys, I want to comment on what she just said about, let's go back to what she said about women having more logic than men. For anybody who's been watching my channel, you guys know that is biologically not possible. Biologically, guys, it can't be more possible that women have more logic than men. It just isn't.
Biologically, it is possible because a woman's brain, I'm a scientist, you guys, I'm a biologist. A woman's brain is bigger than a man's brain. Let me just figure this out there.
I'm going to edit this out. Oh yeah, guys, and like she just.
All right, I can't do anymore. I can't do anymore. Oh, guys, let me know. I'm 33% done with this video. I can keep going in on it. Let me know if you want to keep me to keep on reacting to it. The last thing that she concluded with is that a woman's brain is bigger than a man's brain. And then she also said that she is a scientist or biologist or something like that. I'm absolutely floored. Like I don't even know what to say to that. I feel I can't even show. I feel ridiculous even going to any articles or studies about the sizes of human brains. That's how ridiculous of a statement that is. What I will also say, just to end off on a note of really trying to understand where it is that she's coming from, I think that when she says that this idea that men are intimidated, she said a couple of things. She said men are ego-driven, and I agree with her on that point. And a lot of our egos do get us into a lot of trouble, both from a dating perspective, right, being rejected from a woman, and then also from a dominance competition perspective in managing and dealing with other like men in our lives. It gets us in, particularly a lot of trouble. You see that within the Black community especially. But I will say that a lot of that is young men unable to deal with emotional outbursts or emotional tirades. And a lot of that is what we talked about before. It starts back at the man. And there's a multitude of reasons as to why fathers are not in the household. And we're not going to get into that, but it starts back there. So I agree to a little bit of what she was saying regarding ego driven. And I think that like some of the things that I like to talk about on this channel is being stoic in your responses. And actually, I think the brother actually did a pretty fantastic job of being stoic as she was saying clearly incorrect things, things that just made absolutely no sense and were really asinine within them. So, guys, let me know if you want me to keep on going through this video. I'll leave a link down in the description box down below. Feel free to go to the young brother's channel and check out all of the stuff that he does. This is fantastic content, brother. All right? Questions, comments, concerns, y'all already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. All right? Until next time, YouTube.